Hi, so today is December 17th, 2025, and it's about 8 o'clock at night, which means that exactly 10 years ago, right now, I was in the movie theater watching The Force Awakens for the first time. It was just beginning. And I had a blast, and and it was a really memorable night. And I just want to reminisce about that tonight on the 10th anniversary. I want to reminisce about that time, about back then, um, when I was loving on The Force Awakens. Now, a lot has changed since then. A lot has drastically, fundamentally, radically changed in the last 8 years. But but I'm not going to talk about that tonight. I don't want to say anything negative. I want to focus on a time when I was happy, when I was joyful, when I was hopeful, and evidently very naive, like Benjamin Barker. So, I guess I'll start at the beginning, when all this got rolling, back when Lucasfilm was uh, acquired by Disney, and and of course immediately said, "Yeah, we're making 7, 8, 9," which I was every Star Wars fan was super excited about. Um, I was excited that Disney was owning Lucasfilm because my thought at the time was, well, Disney's bread and butter is fairy tales, and Star Wars is fairy tale, so this is a perfect match. And yeah, and yeah, of course I've been waiting to see sequel movies all my life, and I never thought I was going to see them because George Lucas had made it pretty clear that the Skywalker saga was, you know, 1 through 6, and that's all he was going to make. So this was really unexpected and exciting, and the idea of new management not being true to the expanded universe didn't bother me because I hadn't read the expanded universe at that time. I was aware of its existence, but I had not read a single thing. Um, so I had no knowledge of it. I had no attachment to it, and the idea of you know kind of making a new timeline to go into the new movies made sense to me, and honestly, it still kind of makes sense to me. I would be doing would have done something similar if I had been in charge. Um, I would have basically taken all the best parts of the EU, gotten rid of the not good parts, and and replaced it with good stuff, and giving it an overhaul, makeover, and then have it go directly into the new movies. But um, anyway, so I was stoked, and oh, maybe I should say also that I grew up on the original trilogy. I was born in '81, so I grew up watching the original trilogy on VHS, and then when the prequels came out, I enjoyed them. I don't remember my specific reaction to Phantom Menace. I do remember loving Attack of the Clones at the time, and then Revenge of the Sith, really liking that as well. And I wasn't critical of them at the time. I just enjoyed them, and then I did become more and more critical of them as time went by. And by the time 2012, 2013 came around, I was pretty critical of them. I was critical enough to kind of put them aside from the original trilogy. I was like, okay, this trilogy goes over here, this trilogy goes over here. They don't go together. They're both Star Wars. I like them both in their own way, but they don't go together. That's where I was kind of at. Um, and so anyway, so I was able to, when prequels came out, even though I was excited for them, and I had the commemorative magazine for the Phantom Menace. I wish I still had that. Um, Following all the latest news and stuff, it wasn't the same back in 1999, right? But now I jumped on the internet and was looking up all the latest news. I went on the Force.net forums and became a member there so I could chat with other Star Wars fans and get all the latest updates, all the latest rumors, all the latest speculations, and and uh, and see the artwork and just and the the fan stories, and jokes and things. It was a fun time. Um, and then of course on Black Friday of 2014 we got the teaser trailer, which was kind of actually a teaser. I mean, teasers now are just the first trailer, whatever. But it was only like what 88 seconds long, and there was a lot of black screen in there too. So it's kind of a 1 minute tease there, with these the guy popping up in the stormtrooper outfit, the girl on the speeder, um, the guy in the X-wing, and of course the guy in the black robe with the red lightsaber, the Spitfire lightsaber with the crossbar on it. Um, yeah, I remember watching that at work and just being like, "Wow, I loved it. I loved the look of it. It was intriguing." And then the next month, or just a couple, it was just like a week later, wasn't it? I was actually at the airport. My brother and I took a trip to Switzerland that year, and I was at the airport, about to take a flight up to where we would meet up and then go from there. And I'm, so I got some time, and I'm looking online, and I see that they've attached names to the faces in the teaser. So the girl is Rey, and the black stormtrooper is Finn, and then you had the pilot Poe, and then Kylo Ren, and I was like, wow, we're getting information here, and I'm on a trip, and I'm getting this information about the new Star Wars movie. Awesome. And then later in 2015 was it was it Star Wars Celebration or was it Comic Con? I forget now. That they had the second trailer, with I haven't watched these in a while, but you had Rey on her speeder going along that desert landscape with the wrecked Star Destroyer in the background, the relics of the past, which was very cool. And then I forget what else was in there, but of course that one ended with Han saying, "Chewie, we're home," and recreating that publicity shot from way back in the day with Han and his blaster and Chewie in the back with his bowcaster, taking that publicity shot, which never appeared in the original trilogy, and actually making a real shot in a movie with it. That was very cool. And then the actual trailer came out in November. Premiered during. Oh, we got news that it was going to premiere at halftime during some football game. And of course, a lot of people, or some of the people on the forums, were like, "So when is the halftime of a football game? How long do these things last? When should I tune in?" They're either Americans who don't care about sports, or they're people who just aren't Americans who don't know football. Either way, they're Star Wars fans who are like, "Okay, when is this actually going to happen?" And we figured that out. And we also got news that their advance tickets were going to go on sale right after the trailer played. So that night, I'm planning on turning on the TV at a certain time to make sure I don't miss the trailer. And it's probably an hour or 2 hours away from that. And so I'm on the Force.net forum again, and a new thread comes up. The tickets are now on sale. The tickets are on sale. And so I'm like, what? And I go to Fandango, and tickets are on sale. And so I'm trying to get on there and find out what the show times are and what show time I want, and to get that ticket. And of course, everyone who did that back then knows it crashed. Fandango crashed. It couldn't handle it. All Star Wars fans just converged on it. And I don't remember now how long it took me to actually get through and get a ticket, whether I was able to actually get the ticket secured before the trailer aired or whether it was afterwards. But it took a while. In fact, did I have to actually go to the Regal website? Not the Regal, yeah, because one time I did go right to the specific Regal website and bought the ticket from there instead of through Fandango. But I forget if this was that occasion or not. This was my first time ever buying an advance ticket, so it was an experience. But finally, I had a ticket for a movie that was coming out in 2 months, and then the countdown started in earnest. And I think I actually had it numbered on my on my calendar, how many days until. And so I bought a ticket for a 7:30 showing, and this was the first time I was going to be at a opening night of a Star Wars movie. I knew there was going to be a line. I was like, it's Star Wars. There's going to be a line. How early should I get there? And I decided to get there 2 hours early. Yeah, and I stopped by Chipotle real quick and scarfed down a burrito for dinner on my way there. It was right around the corner from the theater. So I eat fast anyway, but I really, really took that burrito down extra fast that evening. I got to the theater, went in, the people working there directed me to the line. There was a line inside, and the hallway was filled up with fellow Star Wars fans. So I just took my place there, and like I said, it was a 7:30 showing. It was a regular showing, not 3D. I hate 3D, and I did eventually want to see this in every format available, but which I did. But for the first one, I just wanted to be traditional showing, and so 7:30 seemed like a good time, and it was regular TD. So anyway, so we're waiting there in the hallway for an hour, and then after an hour, they let us into the auditorium, and this was before assigned seating, so we all just take whatever seat we want, that we can get. And I got a nice seat, like it was auditorium seating, like 3 rows up or something like that, 3 or 4 rows up, and it was full. It was full, and so it was great. We're in the hallway and in the auditorium. We're just a bunch of Star Wars fans. We're all Star Wars family. Just Star Wars family, just hanging out and chatting, having a good time, and eagerly counting down, anticipating the event. So we're in the auditorium for a half hour, and then the commercials start, and then the countdown's really, it's like, it's almost there, just a half hour to go. Then, of course, we reach 7:30, and the trailers start, 25 minutes of trailers. And then finally, around 8 o'clock, the 7:30 movie actually starts. And we all knew that it wasn't going to have the 20th Century Fox fanfare before, so that was the first question: what's going to be there? So just the Lucasfilm logo, and then pow, the music, the opening music, the opening crawl, and we're off to the races. And Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And my before this, my sister, who was a Star Wars fan before me, she was excited for it too, and we had arranged that I would actually come out the next day so we could see it together. So I'd be seeing it Thursday night, and then Friday I would drive out to where to her place in Tennessee. It's about a 10 hour or so drive, and then we would see it together as well. And um, so I did that. Next day, drove out there. I kind of didn't expect her to want to see it right away. I thought we were going to see it Saturday afternoon or something. But once I got there, she was like, "So you want to see it now or tomorrow?" And I was like, "Oh, you're ready to see it now?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm ready." Yeah, yeah, I'm excited, and I'm like, if you are, you just had a long drive. If you want to rest, we can do that and see it tomorrow. But if you're ready to see it again now, I'm ready to see it now too. And so I was like, yeah, let's see it now. I've been thinking about it the whole drive here, and I'm ready to see it again. Uh, and so we went to see it was a what was it, a 9 o'clock, 9:30, something like that showing. Let's see, the movie was it's probably not nine. The movie is what 2 hours 16 minutes long, uh, plus 25 minutes of trailers. So that's putting it at what 2 hours and um, so yeah, and it was about midnight when we got out, so it was probably yeah. Anyway, so she, myself, and two of her daughters came along as well and watched it, and we all enjoyed it. Well, I think one of her daughters fell asleep. She's not really big into movies, but um, anyway, and then she'd gotten a large popcorn, and my sister had, and I don't know if she just hadn't eaten it during the movie, or whether she simply got it refilled afterwards. But anyway, when we came back to her place, we had a full tub of a big tub of popcorn, and so we just stayed up until like 3 or 4 in the morning eating popcorn and talking about the movie and talking about whatever other stuff, I guess, too. It was really nice. Um, and then I went back on Sunday to be at work on Monday, and then I think, was it Sunday? I think on Monday I saw it again. And the third time I saw The Force Awakens, it was actually in 3D. Like I said, I did want to see this in every format I could. Even though I hate 3D, I did see it in Real D 3D, which did suck. And then the fourth time I watched it was in IMAX 3D, which was fine. I think IMAX is overrated personally, but it was fine. Um, and then the other ones, I saw this movie a total of 8 times. So uh, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I saw on the regular 2D screens. Um, so yeah, and I remember during showing number, I think 7, maybe 8. I was actually sitting up front. I usually don't sit way up front, but this time I was, and just behind me, during the opening crawl, I heard a father reading the crawl to his child, which I thought was kind of cute. It's like, all right, we got the interactive family thing going on here with the Star Wars on the screen. Um, and then anyway, so yeah, I saw it 8 times in the theater, and then when it came out on DVD, of course, bought it, and the day it came out, and I wound up watching it an additional 30 times before December of 2017. So total of 38 times in um, 2 years. Obviously, I really dug it. And I actually came to refer to my reviewings as getting my Ray fix, because I loved Ray. And yeah, was aware. I remember my sister. I was aware that some people were down on it, but I wasn't really paying attention to that. I was too busy enjoying it. I remember my talking to my sister on the phone later on, and she was like, "Yeah, some people are saying that it's a just a kind of a remake of A New Hope," and and I was like, "Well, yeah, it kind of is, but who cares? It's awesome." That's where I was. I didn't care. I was just enjoying it, enjoying myself. Um, and when it came, and of course, still being on the forums and discussing the film and within the film, and then discussing what might happen later, um, and again looking at the artwork, which was really cool. And so, and when it came to speculations, when it came to looking forward to episode 8, I was not just I wasn't just excited to see Luke Skywalker again. Uh, of course, I was excited for that, and I wasn't just excited to see Leia again. Unfortunately, for the last time, may she rest in peace. Leia. It's Carrie Fisher's uh, the 9th anniversary of her death is coming up here shortly. Um, I wasn't just excited to see them. I was excited to see Rey and Finn and Poe and Kylo, and I was excited. I was interested in all these characters. I was interested to see where their stories would go. I was interested in, like I said, Rey and Finn, Poe, Kylo, Snoke. I wanted to see where all their stories went. I was fully invested in all of them. The classic characters and the new characters. I bought the novelization. I read it twice. I listened to the soundtrack all the time. So I was fully in, and just fully enjoyed it. Had the Force Awakens T-shirt. Had action figures of Rey, Finn, and Kylo. I also had a snowtrooper from Starkiller Base randomly. So, and I had the Before the Awakening book with the 3 stories of Rey, Finn, and Poe. So yeah, I was all in, enjoying it, and I'm going to actually finish this video with a review that I wrote on February 10th to February 8th, 2016. This will wind up the video. I mean, I don't know how long it'll take to read this. This will be a little bit embarrassing, but obviously my opinions have changed since then. But I'm not going to comment. I'm going to read it without comment. And I'll do it. But before I do, this will give you the best idea, since it was written at the time. It'll give you the best idea of where my mind was at. But before I do, with everything I've said, does it sound like I was a person who would come to reject this movie and reject everything Disney Star Wars? Does that seem likely? Does that seem even possible? And think of that, and when I read this, is it gonna seem like this dude is gonna be totally doing what I? Yeah, it didn't seem possible to me. But anyway, let me read this, and then shut up. All right. So from February 8th, 2016. After 8 weeks and 7 viewings, I am finally getting around to putting down my thoughts on The Force Awakens. It might be a tad long, because what Star Wars fan can keep a review to 500 words? I don't know how many words this is. I love this movie, so that will make it excessively positive. Obviously, there will be spoilers galore, so if you haven't seen The Force Awakens, what the hell is wrong with you? One thing which becomes clear with each viewing is that the primary focus of this movie is the characters. Everything is character focused. To be sure, we get the visual spectacle which we expect from Star Wars, but that is secondary, the whipped cream and cherry on top of the main course that is the characters. This is revealed to us right away in the opening crawl. Luke Skywalker has vanished, and everyone is trying to find him. The main plot, the main drive of this story is finding a person, not the destruction of a superweapon, though that happens too, not the ending of a Trade Federation blockade, whatever that means, not the formation of an army of the Republic. That was the plot of AOTC, right? Trying to find a person. Has that happened before in Star Wars? Yes, in The Empire Strikes Back, Vader trying to find Luke, which is widely acknowledged to be the greatest Star Wars movie. This focus on character is also very evident in the music. We know that John Williams' scores are a huge part of what makes Star Wars so rich and memorable, and that he can blow us away with his majestic, romantic, and exciting themes. However, on first listen, it seems that he is held back on this one. The music isn't obviously awesome as we expect, but repeated viewings and listens show this to be an illusion. The fact is that he has given us a spectacular score, but it is one designed to grow as our appreciation of the characters grows. It is not to not distract us from the people and drama on screen, but complement our growing feelings for them. Once you have fully processed the movie, you find that the images and music are perfectly harmonious, and that both are stunningly beautiful. The focus of character then extends to the way in which it is filmed visually. The camera is on intimate terms with the characters, staying close to them so that there is none of that just watching a play type of feeling. We are there with them. The cinematography is naturalistic, which adds to the sense of being in a real place with real people and real situations. The used universe look is on proud display, and the camera gives us every reasonable opportunity to relish it. You really feel like you could reach out and touch what you're seeing. You can almost feel the breath of the characters on your face. I haven't even gotten to the script proper yet. What the script does is give us believable characters with believable dialogue and motivations. There is no line that does not ring true, no action that we do not understand given the character, no joke which is cheap or eye-roll worthy, and nothing wasted. On the subject of nothing wasted, I will here address the Kanja Club / Rathtar sequence. It could be legitimately said that this scene could have been taken out without us missing it, that it contributes nothing to the plot, which is true. However, what it does contribute is character development. It allows us to see where Han is at that point in his life, what he's been doing and who he's been dealing with, and how he deals with them. And this is the first time we've actually seen him smuggling anything. And no, Obi-Wan, Luke, and the droids don't count. Again, the priority is the characters. And speaking of the characters, note that all of the new ones, with the exception of Snoke, are introduced to us before any of the old ones show up. We are fully 40 minutes into the movie before we see Han, though of course one could say that the first old character to be revealed is the Millennium Falcon a few minutes earlier. People have complained about TFA being a nostalgia fest, a catering to fans of the original trilogy. Nonsense. If that had been so, the opening shot would have panned down to the Millennium Falcon, piloted as usual by Han and Chewie. It would have put Han, Leia, and Luke all together in the same shot at some point. It would have put an ignited lightsaber in Leia's hands. It would have had Han saying, "I always shoot first." But no, they put the new crew front and center. And then when the classic characters did arrive, they did so in a way that made sense, at a point where it felt natural to see them. Now to address specific controversies. 1. The lightsaber duel at the climax. Some have complained that Finn and Rey are both too good against the more experienced Kylo Ren. But if you pay attention to the scene, you see that Kylo is just toying with Finn, between banging on the wound in his side. Then Finn lands that lucky shot, and Kylo is like, "Okay, enough with this," and he knocks the lightsaber away and slices Finn's back. Then when Rey fights Kylo, it is easily seen that until she embraces the Force, she is basically running away from him. And remember that he is injured pretty badly. That bowcaster does a lot of damage. And he is still a powerful person, strong, but he's still a powerful person strong in the Force. So he completely dominates the fight until he reminds her of the Force, which was a bad move on his part, because after she closes her eyes to let it in, she kicks his ass. 2. Starkiller Base, aka Death Star 3. I was initially disappointed with this. Seeing it on the poster was not exactly surprising, but I was hoping that they would do something different with it this time, like not blowing it up till the third movie. So much for that. But now that I have absorbed the film and can just watch and enjoy it like any other movie, I am simply in awe of the X-Wing shots. They are jaw-droppingly awesome. This is Star Wars, baby. Also, like in Return of the Jedi, the attack on the big gun isn't the central drama. It's the background. The main drama is taking place, like in Jedi, on the big gun. 3. Rey using the Jedi mind trick. On first viewing, my reaction was as follows. Wait, is she actually doing... Yeah, she is. Does that make sense? I mean, how... Oh, who cares? This is awesome. Jedi mind trick. Heck yeah, this is Star Wars, baby. And that is pretty much still my feeling on the matter, but without the first part. Note that it takes her 3 tries before it actually works, and it is a stormtrooper after all. It's still one of my favorite parts. Number 4. This is a little out of order, but okay. Rey's interrogation by Kylo. Now, we know Rey is the hero, so we know that she is Force sensitive, though outside of flying the Millennium Falcon really well, she hasn't shown evidence of it yet. So we figure that she will be able to resist Kylo's mind probe. So to go back to my thoughts on first viewing, resist him, Rey. That's right, you can do it. Keep resisting, keep resisting, keep... Holy crap! She read his mind! Damn! You go, girl! And you go, girl is still what I want to shout out loud every time I watch the movie. One question, though. Did Rey know who Darth Vader was? She thought Luke Skywalker was a myth, so how much has she heard about Luke's dad? I'll throw this in just because it crossed my mind. Stormtrooper uniforms still don't seem to protect them worth a crap. Next. 5. Okay. Rey being good at everything. You got a problem with that? I don't. I wish I were her. Next. Captain Phasma. You know, the really cool-looking Chrome Trooper played by a tall woman who appears for a total of about 30 seconds of screen time, not exaggeration, and does nothing but take down the shields to Starkiller Base at the insistence of our heroes? Yeah, that one. We sure expected something of that character. Maybe she'll do something in episode 8, but I don't care at this point. But I don't care if she does at this point. After a few viewings, she just blends into the background, and I don't mind her insignificance anymore. Snoke. I was expecting big, because Andy Serkis said Snoke was big, but I was still quite surprised by his size and appearance. I think I was expecting more alien and less Gollum, but then when he faded out and we learned that he and his chair was a hologram, that changed my perspective and opinion. Initially, I was underwhelmed by both his appearance and rendering, but after realizing that I hadn't really seen Snoke yet, I reserved my judgment. Now, after multiple viewings, the character, or his hologram anyway, has grown on me, and I'm starting to like it. Next, the Rathtars. Gotta say it, the Rathtars look terrible, at least in this environment. They would fit right into a film like Men in Black 2. But in a film like TFA, which is going for and achieving the real tactile look, they stick out like Dr. Frankenfurter in a monastery. It's not as bad as putting the Venus flytrap from Super Mario Bros. 3 in the Sarlacc pit, but it definitely still makes you go, what? That said, they don't really bother me because I'm so involved with our main characters at that point. Alright, here's the big one at last. The most heated, debated question of TFA. Who are Rey's parents? None of us know. I should have brought something to drink. But we certainly have our thoughts, our beliefs, our guesses on the matter. Every possibility has been entertained. She's Luke's daughter, Phasma's daughter, Obi-Wan's granddaughter, the reincarnation of Anakin, Snoke's relative somehow. My thoughts ran like this. Before the movie came out, I thought she was Han and Leia's daughter. After I saw it, I figured she was at random, not related to any known character, which was my preference. Then, after reading the novelization, I went back to thinking she was Han and Leia's daughter. At no time did I think she was Luke's daughter. Before getting into the details of the matter, let me acknowledge that it doesn't matter who her parents are. Most of us already love this character on our own terms, for her own sake, without knowing her origin. Which is the way it should be. The main point of most fairy tales, and of every hero's journey, is that regardless of where you come from or how you are raised, you have great individual value and have the potential to accomplish great things. We can see that theme very strongly in Finn's story, and it is why I preferred Rey to be random. She is her own wonderful character, and doesn't need to be a Skywalker to be important, as we can see by how she has been embraced by millions of fans already. Here, very briefly, is why I never thought Luke was Rey's dad. 1. Luke is a Jedi, and Jedi have traditionally always been celibate. They're like monks with swords. Now, I suppose Luke, being the last Jedi, could change the rules, but I don't see that happening. 2. If she is his daughter, then he pretty much abandoned her, which isn't a very Luke thing to do. He usually rushes off to help his friends, much less child, the moment he senses they are in danger. 3. Casual fans, after seeing the movie once, seem to be taking it for granted that she is Luke's daughter, because the movie does, admittedly, strongly hint at that. Luke and Anakin's lightsaber calling to her being the one chosen to find him. But I think that is misdirection. I mean, if it is revealed in one of the sequels that she is his daughter, it will feel anticlimactic to many people. It would be like revealing that Palpatine is the Emperor, or Yoda telling Luke in ROTJ that Vader is his father. Like, no kidding. And what has been revealed is that her lineage hasn't been revealed. So, misdirect. This is why I no longer think she's random. Colin Trevorrow, the director of episode 9, has stated that the answer to the question of her lineage will be deeply and profoundly satisfying. That pretty much renders the random idea null and void right there. Also, in the novelization, the last dialogue scene is as follows. Leia, I'm proud of what you're about to do, she told the girl. Rey replied in all seriousness, but you're also afraid. In sending me away, you're reminded. Leia straightened. You won't share the fate of our son. Rey, I know what we're doing is right. This is how it has to be. This is how it should be. Leia smiled gently, reassuringly. I know it too. May the Force be with you. You won't share the fate of our son? Is that an aunt talking to her niece, or a mother talking to her daughter? I think it's the latter. But any way you cut it, there's definitely a personal connection between Leia and Rey. So yes, that means that I think Kylo/Ben and Rey are brother and sister. Not twins, and on opposite sides of this fight, which sounds like an intriguing dynamic. There is also the idea floating around, which I like, that Kylo was the one who left Rey on Jakku because he couldn't bring himself to kill her when he destroyed the Jedi Academy. I'm not sure if the timing makes sense, because Rey was 5 when she left on Jakku, which would make Kylo around 15 or 16 years old at the time. Even Anakin waited till he was 19 before slaughtering the Sand People. Anyway, their being siblings would work well with that idea because of the special bond that does exist between brothers and sisters. The natural objection to this is, wait, he couldn't kill his sister, but he could kill his father? How does that make any sense? It makes sense for 2 reasons. 1, 14 years before The Force Awakens, he would not have been as far down the path of the dark side as when we meet him. 2, there is often a natural antagonism between fathers and sons, which does not exist between brothers and sisters, which can lead to violence. Plus, this would continue to make Star Wars a family drama, with the brother and sister each trying to bring the other over to their side. Kylo has confessed to feeling a call to the light, and Rey is, well, a ray of light. And I'm guessing that she will come to represent the entire light side in Kylo's eyes. I'll wind up this I'll wind this up with a short list of favorite parts, both mine and those of the general audience, in no particular order. BB-8 giving Finn the flame. People love that. The appearance of the Millennium Falcon. Rey using the Jedi mind trick. Han saying, "That's not how the Force works." Han saying to Chewie, "Oh really? You're cold?" Always gets a laugh from the audience. Poe and Finn's escape. Rey and Finn's escape on the Millennium Falcon. Rey besting Kylo at the mind-reading game. Rey force-pulling the lightsaber into her hand. Some moof milker put a compressor on the ignition switch. Yay, new insult. Maz Kanata saying, no. Rey cleaning her scavenged part. The reveal of Luke. And here, finally, is my personal ranking of the Star Wars movies from most favorite to least favorite. A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, The Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. And that is that. So, thank you for listening. Bye.